All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Katie Motzinger, and I'm the Community Resource Director here at the Children's Attention Home. For those of you that may not know a lot about the home, we are located in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we provide nurturing care and life-changing services to youth in foster care, as well as homeless youth here in our community. We really work hard to make sure that we're providing them with the individual care and resources that they need to meet them where they are and help them reach their goals of where they're trying to go and help them be successful in life after their time with us. And part of how we do that is through the wonderful support of our community, including to like our guests today, Rob and Rhonda Jacobson. So thanks for joining me, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourselves and how you first heard about the Children's Attention Home.
Okay, so this is Rob. I'm Rhonda. We've been married for 19 years. We are the parents of two daughters who are 15 and 12. And currently we're small business owners here in York County. And previously Rob was in banking and financial technology, and I was a teacher, and then a stay-at-home mom. And so 4 years ago, we flipped our lives upside down, bought a small business that was already existing. So we own Not Yet Cabinet Works, that does commercial and residential custom cabinetry. But learning about the home, I actually learned about the home when I was a teacher over 20 years ago. I taught at Ebenezer Avenue Elementary School. And before the Children's Attention Home had a school, that's where a lot of the elementary school aged kids would go to school. So I actually taught a student or two who were living at the home at the time. So I learned a lot about it because our school was actually serving the kids at the home.
That's awesome. I did not know that about you. So look, I get to learn new things. And I didn't highlight, but yes, Not Yet Cabinet Works. You guys are a huge supporter of ours in that avenue as well. They've done cabinets for some of our spaces in the admin building and are a platinum partner with us this year as a sponsor. And so just an incredible support, not just from you guys personally and volunteer and everything, but from the business side as well. And we're so appreciative of that. So Rob, how did you first hear about the home? Was it through Rhonda coming home, or how did that work?
It was through our church. Actually, you came to our church, and I think it was a get to know the not-for-profits in the community type fair that the church held, and had a conversation with you, and that's kind of how I was introduced to the organization.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I do remember that. That was probably my first year being here. So what inspired you guys to first support the home? So you learned about it through work and through church, but what made you say we're going to take a step forward and become involved?
Well, earlier in my career, I worked with lots of not-for-profits in the Carolinas, and honestly, it was really more on the business side. And after seeing what I saw, it somewhat tainted me about some organizations, in that a lot of the dollars that were being donated were being spent on more bureaucratic things than actually the intent of the donation. And so when I learned about the Children's Attention Home and how it operates differently than a lot of organizations, that's one of the things that attracted me to them. The other thing that we feel passionate about, whether it's children or special needs individuals, those are people that really have a hard time helping themselves. And so we are very passionate about that aspect of it. And obviously the Children's Attention Home fits that criteria. And then the third thing was really that it's more of a weakness on my side, is that a lot of times it's hard for me to be compassionate and show empathy and sympathy to adults sometimes who were given gifts that they don't use or continuously make bad choices. And so I started thinking about how if I was thinking that way, it's pretty hypocritical of us adults to really make those judgments sometimes if we're not willing to help these individuals when they're children. And how do you help break that cycle? And so putting our time and resources into an organization that could potentially help that, I think is another key reason why we are led to support the Children's Detention Home.
Thanks for sharing all of that. That's certainly a lot of thought into, where you guys have become involved and so connected to what we do. So you kind of shared a little bit about how you personally connect with the home. Rhonda, do you have anything you want to add to that? Or anything, Rob, if there was more you wanted to share too, I would love to hear more just about that personal connection if you have more to share.
Well, we both grew up in two-parent households where we felt like, it was a safe place to be. We were loved, encouraged. All of our basic needs were met, but then all the other needs were also met. And we try to give that to our own girls too. And anytime there's kids out there who don't have that opportunity, we really feel like we're called to make that difference in ways that we can. And if it's just financial, that's great. If it's given time, serving on the board like Rob does, all those things, as citizens, it's just our responsibility to do. And so this felt like a great place to do that.
We appreciate that so much. And I did not mention that Rob is one of our board members at the beginning, and I should have. And so we're very grateful for your service on the board and helping lead us in all that's going on right now. Do you have a particular memory of the home that you cherish or that stands out to you?
Yeah, actually I do. Probably the most vivid memory would be when I first joined the board and you invited all of the board members to dinner, where the children of the home not only helped serve us, but then they also had an opportunity to sit down and share a meal together. I met a girl that was probably early teenager years, and you could tell she had been through a lot. In fact, when she was trying to explain her past, she would pause and say something to the effect of, well, I just don't want to talk about that right now. I don't want to go there, et cetera. And you could tell that she was very sort of, she just definitely had some baggage there of whatever happened to her. But what struck me is how optimistic she was. She was extraordinarily positive person. She was very optimistic about her future, about the tools that had been taught to her and given to her from the home, and that her past was her past, and she was moving forward, and she was very confident that she would have a bright future.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's. I think even after being here for almost 6 years, I think it strikes me every time the resiliency that we see in our kids and just their ability to, like you said, focus forward and think about what is to come instead of dwelling on, being able to heal from, I guess, what they've come from and what's happened to them. Rhonda, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I think as business owners, it's been really fun because the home has been something that we supported long before we even thought about owning a business. And so explaining to our company why we love the Children's Detention Home and introducing them to it and inviting them to the fundraising events and even inviting friends to the fundraising events, watching other people learn about what a difference the Children's Detention Home makes in our community is just fun to experience. It means a lot to us, but then it's really cool to watch it mean a lot to somebody else that we got to help introduce.
That's awesome. So if y'all had to pick one thing, or you have multiple things, but one thing to share with other people about the home, if somebody were to ask you, tell me about your experience with the home, what would you share with them?
What I love about the home is, and maybe it's the teacher in me, is just the board and the staff are always looking for ways to meet the current needs and to meet those needs better. I think there's a lot of organizations who figure out what they're doing and they just stick with it. It works. They keep it going. It looks good on paper. It's easy. So they just kind of get in this rhythm and keep things going. And I love that since the beginning, there's always been this real evolution of what are the current needs and what do we need to do to adjust so that we're meeting the current needs of the kids around us. And so just seeing it go from having its own school to now how it's adjusting during the pandemic, how they've evolved into really serving the homeless teens has been really cool. And so it's fun to support an organization that you trust is looking for ways to improve and looking for ways to be relevant. And so to me, that is the thing that really sets it apart from other organizations that we've been a part of.
Thank you for that. That's very humbling to hear.
Obviously you have a big part in that,
Definitely.
Katie. So I guess the one thing that I think that I would like people to know about that has been probably the second behind safety, the second most important thing that the home does is I think they try to provide some sort of normalcy to the child. And they do everything they can to take a really bad situation and give them some sort of stability and consistency and disrupt their lives in the least possible way. And an example of that would be the fact that, if a child is going to a school that is not in the immediate radius of the home, the Children's Attention Home, through funding and through volunteers, gets that child to their high school or gets that child to their middle school, so that they at least have their friends and their teachers and the people that they're used to. They might be coming home to a different place, but at least they have something to look forward to that is normal. And so the fact that a child doesn't have to give up football or track or dance because they know that when they're done with school, they're going to have a volunteer or an employee of the Children's Attention Home bring them back to the home and then take them back to whatever activity they were involved in. And I think that should speak volumes to people outside the organization, as well as the child, that this is not about what's convenient for the organization. Just doing what it takes to get by, provide a home, feed them, and fulfill basic needs. It's taking it to another level, providing them therapy, providing them normalcy, and doing whatever the home can do to support that child above and beyond just the status quo or the basic needs.
Thank you for sharing that. And we're so blessed to have an incredible team that's their heart, that the people that come to work for us and that are a part of the day-to-day working for the home just pour their heart out into our kids, and we have a community that makes it possible and resources for us to do that. So that's part of, when you guys support, or any of you watching support, that's what it goes towards, is that individual experience and making sure that we can help each child where it's the most beneficial for them to grow as a person. So yeah, I echo your sentiments, Rob, and Rhonda. And so do you guys have anything you want to add, any last words or anything before we close out?
I would just say, for me, I would just encourage those who have heard a lot about the home. In theory, they think it's a great mission. Who doesn't love children, right? And who doesn't want to help children? But until you really invest a little bit of time and learn about the home, and once we're beyond this pandemic and the home is able to accommodate visitors, just invest a couple hours of your week or year, month, whatever, and just go there and understand what's happening in your own community and how they're helping children.
Thank you. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this today and sharing your experience with others. If you heard anything today that you want to learn more about, if you connected with something that was said, or like Rob said, if you just want to learn more about the home, we are still doing speaking engagements. And so we can't do tours right now, but we can meet with your group virtually or socially distant, safely distant in person. And then you can go on our website, attentionhome.org, and learn about all of the ways that you can get involved right now, and hopefully even more directly in the future. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sharing your heart for the home today. And contact us if you have any questions. Thanks so much.